fan, Emmy winner A. Martinez, favorite Galen Gering, and Camila Banus, who is scheduled to be with us, is feeling ill and under the weather. She is currently at the doctor. She may join us on your screen from her home a little bit later on, but we have some wonderful fans with us from all over the world. So I'm going to introduce them first before we get started. First, we've got Carolyn Topol from West Hartford, Connecticut. Hi, Carolyn.
Hi, how are you guys?
How are you?
Good.
You've been at Days U for 35 years?
About that, yeah.
Yeah, and I hear you're a big fan of Galen's. He's okay, right?
Yeah, he's pretty good. No, I'm a big fan of Galen's, and I'm looking forward to meeting him in Boston.
Even though I didn't win an Emmy?
Yet.
Yeah?
That doesn't matter at all.
I felt like, he was kind of slamming me there.
It was
You're
not
a favorite.
You're a fan favorite.
Did that hurt you a little?
Fan
Much
favorite.
as it-
A little bit. Okay. Dottie DeLito is with us. She's a paramedic from Charlottesville, Virginia. Hi, Dottie.
Hi.
Hi, Dottie.
Hey, Dottie.
And I hear you're a big fan of Gabby, Camila Banus.
Yes, and these two gentlemen as well.
Thank you.
Well said.
The Emmy winner and the fan favorite.
Just put the boot on his neck. Wow.
And now I'd like to introduce you to Ian Charles Stewart, all the way from, is it Auckland, New Zealand?
It is. It's from Auckland, New Zealand.
Fantastic.
And thank you for having me on the program today, Michael.
Oh, we're thrilled to have you. And I hear you've been a fan for 21 years of Days of Our Lives.
I have been, yes.
What do you mean? He looks like 19.
I'm not. I'm actually 29. But I look like I'm 19.
Good. We like that. We like that. It's good.
And I know you love all the actors on Days of Our Lives, you told me, but you are a big fan of Martinez.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Again?
maybe I'm not such an unfavorite.
No, I love you too, Galen. You're awesome. But hey, Martinez, it's just fantastic to have you on Days of Our Lives. Cruz on Santa Barbara was an awesome character, so really looking forward to seeing, what's in store.
Yeah, thank you, man.
And we have James Ruff from Selma, Alabama with us.
Guys,
Hi.
here.
Watching Days for 25 years, and you're a big fan also of A. Martinez.
I am. Well, I remember laying on my
That's
nana's.
the pattern here, people. All right.
I remember laying on my nana's floor watching Santa Barbara, and it was always Cruz and Eden. And I grew up with A. Martinez. I'm so excited to have you join our family. I can't wait to see what you bring to the table, and thank you so much for taking the opportunity to be with us today. I'm so thankful.
Wow. Bless your heart, man. Thank you, James.
And I also want to say real fast, Galen, I was a huge Passion fan. Luis was my homeboy, so it's all good.
What do we talk about?
And we have Lisa Nelson Kemper with us from Lancaster, California. She's been watching for 47 years. She is a big fan of Galen Gering.
Yeah, what? Lisa,
Lisa.
why didn't you just come and visit us? Lancaster's only about 26 minutes away right now, I'm pretty sure.
I've been to Day of Days 3 times. I'm hoping for a 4th.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So let me just start with the questions. It's so good to have A. Martinez back on Daytime. The question is, how come this came about that you decided to come to Days and take on the role of Eduardo?
Well, I think Josh Griffith, because he worked on Santa Barbara back in the day, and I think he imagined me doing this, and he called. And, when someone calls up that you know their work as a writer and you like them and respect them, it's easy to say yes. Plus, it's really cool to work. To actually
Oh please, he's got like 6 jobs going. This guy.
No, but
right now.
it's I'm working, but I spend when I actually do the calendar and look at how many days of the year that I have to myself. It's kind of shocking how many there actually are.
There actually are.
And Lane Davies from Santa Barbara, the great Lane Davies, he once said to me, that he just, more than anything, he loved the simple dignity of having somewhere to go in the morning.
Yeah.
So I thought, this would be cool. I've always been happy when I got to have somewhere to go and work, and this is a great place to be working.
Galen, I'm so thrilled for you though too, because I truly mean this. You are one of my favorites. I'm so glad you have a story. It's so nice to have Ray back.
Do you feel bad for me?
I'm not. I'm not.
I mean, it's cool if you are. Like, I'll take it away.
I'm not. He always gives me a hard time, people. This is like normal.
Justified.
Okay.
Well,
But
thank you, though.
it's great that you have story. How do you feel about being back in the game here with a great story? You've got multi-pronged things going on. He's on the case on the serial killer.
Yeah, it's so great. It's so great. It's so much fun. I'm having the most fun that I've had. And, I mean, as long as I can remember, storyline-wise, just stuff just coming at you from all angles. Not just the stuff that I'm involved in, but the stuff that literally, like, being a fan now, watching all these talented people that I'm working with and even not so much working with that I get to see their stories, and I'm like, holy, oh my god, I can't believe, like, you know, you're seeing stuff on the monitor that's happening, it's just, it's a thrill ride right now, and I'm so glad to be aboard.
And it's so great that you're now a cop again.
Oh, God.
Because instead of you're just running a bar. Wasn't just running a bar. So, yeah.
Well, not only being a cop, but there's also major story involved with that, and they've threaded all kinds of really interesting relationships into that. So it's just, you know, it's exciting. I'm excited.
May I ask
Wait a minute.
when you found out that Abe was playing but
Oh, man. I didn't even know we could talk about that. So.
well, we can.
Oh, we can. We are right now. I mean, if not, too late, right? Well, I will say this. I'll share this. We had this, you know, scenes, and I want to say that we didn't really have that much rehearsal time. We did have some, but I feel like, you know, there's so much more that needs to go in this relationship. And then, but we had these scenes, and then he looks at me and he goes, thank God. I just, it could have been so bad, so many things, and we just thought we had this moment, and it was like, it just clicked, you know, right? Remember that?
I so do. Excuse me. It makes me really happy that you remember that.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll say in our fledgling relationship, and I pray to God I don't use bad language, fledgling. Was it fledgling?
Yeah.
Fledgling. Say one F word, then all the F words are downhill. No, but you know, there's some problems between our characters, mainly. Well, I guess I can't say exactly why. Yeah, shut up. But there's problems, and you know, there's a lot of kind of emotional difficulty. But you know, it's a lot of fun.
Understatement.
It's so much fun. The work is so much fun that I find myself really having to. I can sort of barely maintain my focus on the problem sometimes because of the fun that it is to play. That's my story.
Emmy Award winner.
Emmy Award winner. What was also interesting to see for your character is that, you know, he's clearly got this crush on Hope.
Mm.
Mm. Clearly.
Because all the characters are like, clearly he's got a crush on her, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. She's a lovely coworker.
A lovely coworker.
And I really enjoy spending time with her as a person. And I hope things work out for her.
Okay, that's a really political answer. Yeah. Very good. Before we go to you guys,
just shut me down.
I was also not What do you mean? Do you like working with Christian Alfonso?
Yes, she's amazing.
Because you guys look great together.
She's amazing. You know, one of the things that I love so much about working with her is that she's been here for quite a number of years.
She's iconic.
She's iconic. She's a great person. She's beautiful, all the obvious things. But the one thing that you wouldn't expect is the excitement of a child that she brings into the work every day. And she's giddy and she's nervous and all these things. Just like, it's cool. It's really infectious and it really makes you want to be a part of it, if that makes sense. You know?
It'll be interesting to watch with the fans with Hayden and Bo and you. There's a lot of going on.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Before we get to you guys, fans worldwide know you as Cruz Castillo for Santa Barbara, right? Mm-hmm. Is that, because that, you and I have always talked about that being such kind of like, I wouldn't say defining role, but one of the greatest roles ever on a show. Do you, that's what I'm asking. It is hard. Do you feel the pressure when you're coming into a new role to try to?
No, I've given up. I think that was like the high water mark for me, honestly. You know, occasionally you run across an actor. I worked with this actor Gary Farmer in this movie Powwow Highway. He played this guy Philbert, this mystical Indian, and you look at the guy and you go, that is the perfect match of an actor and a character. And he's, you know, in his 30s, so he's going to have to deal with the fact that he'll never have a part that'll light him up that way. That's just sort of the thing that you can do. You know, I can't complain, obviously, because I've been able to keep working, and even though it got a little thin for a while, you start going, geez, you know, I'd go walk into certain auditions, and, you know, they remember me from, you know, Cruise in the vicinity of years after that, and I'd walk in the room and you'd see him just look at you and go, oh, he's not that guy anymore, you know. Yeah, it's funny, except that it's not so funny when it means like month after month without a job, right? But then it's not that so funny then.
We can laugh now.
Yeah, I'm laughing now. No, but I swear to God, I had Jill, especially that. Yeah, that Jill felt used to Santa Barbara. You know, you just got to let your hair grow gray and then get to work again, right? And I was thinking, she thinks I'm dyeing my hair. She thinks I'm dyeing my hair.
She thinks you're dyeing.
But I'm not dyeing my hair. Just that, you know, I kept thinking, well, maybe it'll happen soon. It'll go gray. But then I realized, well, I already have gray on my face, so I just let some gray out. Maybe put that to the test. And I swear to God, as soon as I grew gray hair on my face, I started to work.
Really?
Right. So instead of the kind of, oh, he's not that guy anymore. For a young guy, he's really not cutting it. But for an old guy, he's looking good. So, so you know.
There is hope for us.
There's hope.
There's hope for us with gray hair.
Yeah.
My last question for you guys is Camila Banus. Having her back on the show is great.
Yeah.
She's not with us today. And you played her dad on One Life to Live when you were Ray and Lola Montez.
Right.
So what can you say about? Do you know about that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
How did I know that?
I don't know.
You're just full of secrets,
I
aren't you?
can't believe I kept that from
Oh
you.
my God!
I didn't mean to.
God,
Just we haven't had that.
unbelievable. Really? No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's worked with her before.
So she was like,
We was like just starting off.
She was just the first soap opera.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, I love her. I love the relationship that we've had on this show, and I'm expecting some pretty exciting stuff. I mean, having him the stuff we've had has just been awesome, and obviously, I feel like I can say that between the three of us, our characters have a distinctly different memory of our childhood, a different point of view coming in, and so what she wants, what I want, what he wants, are just, you know, they're not necessarily meshing. And obviously that makes for good storytelling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Agree?
Yeah, it's good. And we finally got to do this. We've done a couple of scenes where we actually, the three of us got to be, you know, and they've always been good. This last one in particular we did.
That was so fun.
There might have been a little drinking involved, you know.
Drinking and drama with the Hernandez clan. That's
I gotta
what's
say,
going on.
it was kind of fun.
But like no tequila and no cerveza.
No, it's
No,
like,
you like your eyeball on it.
There's
Yeah,
eyeball. Drinking at Days of Our Lives. All right, let's go to you guys. Carolyn, would you like to ask a question of the guys?
Yes, I'd love to. First of all, once again, I'd like to say, Galen, I have loved watching Rafe the past several years.
Thank you.
I think you're great.
Thank you.
And one thing I think, though, is that Rafe has been really undercut in the romance department, especially lately. And right now, his only interest has two other people in the, you know, kind of in the forefront. So is Rafe going to get his own romance soon?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
I think she's saying that the person, Hope, has two people in front of you, which are Aiden and Bo, leaving you kind of out in the cold.
No,
Would you?
So is Rafe going to have his own romance, with or without Hope, with somebody else? Maybe. Can we look forward to that, or is he so involved with the serial killer thing?
Well, obviously I can't tell you what's going to happen on that. But I can say that there are some potential suitresses. I don't know if that's a word, but you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
It's a word. It's very nice.
Dirty hoes in
Some
Salem.
hookups in Salem for a Rafe.
Yeah, it's
some loving.
Yeah, he does.
He needs some loving.
A lot.
All right, Dottie, do you have a question for Galen or A?
Yes, I was wondering, as fans, we're really enjoying the new writers. what's the actors' reactions, and is there a new excitement at Days with the onset of the new writers and the new material and stuff?
Well, first of all, great, because yes, we are too. Especially, you see we're going into our second week, I believe now, and the snowball just starts growing, but the excitement from day one, week 2, week 3, just becomes greater and greater and more palpable, and there are times just coming off set going, oh my god, I can't believe, and again that moment of like watching the monitor and people being invested in other people's storylines. So it's just going to continue to get better and better. These guys are, Dina and Josh are absolutely killing it. We're having so much fun. The downside, of course, is like some of our fellow actors aren't on the show, so that's difficult, problematic, show business at its worst. And but the great thing is I think that the show ultimately is in a phenomenal place. Ken Corday I think it's the best that it's ever been, and which has really been nice. The fact that we're going into our 50th to be able to stand here and say, wow,
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
we're firing on all cylinders right now. So it's really exciting. I hope you guys are going to enjoy it, and I know you're going to continue to enjoy it, actually.
Thank you.
Ding, you're done.
Ding. Time's up. Noel, do you have a question for Galen and A?
Is this James?
Or me first?
I said Noel.
Gotcha.
Yeah, for A, since you're coming on as the father of the Hernandez clan and everything, are there any potential plans to give you a big romance on the show?
If there are, they're deeply under wraps. No, the truth is, there's like stuff. My character is definitely he's been involved in some other people's lives on a pretty provocative level. But it's like I'm operating sort of in a mystery zone. Sort of when I think that something's going to happen and it looks like it's moving in a certain direction, I notice that like shortly thereafter it goes sideways. So I'm trying not to get stuck anticipating like that. But
would you like a love interest?
Yeah, absolutely. You hope so. But I'll tell you the truth. I mean, it's just been. It's like you feel like you're in a candy store. I mean, there's so much good story. There are so many good actors. I'm getting to do stuff. I mean, I've been friends with Drake Hogestyn for 35 years, and I'm getting to do scenes with him now. Answering a storyline that he's been invested in for most of the time he's been here, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And I've had wonderful scenes with Cassie DePaiva and Lauren Koslow as well, and plus all the family stuff. So it's been pretty great.
Cassie and Lauren are great. Those are great scene partners. Great scene partners. Great. All right, James, you're up.
Okay, this is for A. Martinez. You've been in this genre for so long, and my question to you is, what attracted you to this role, and what was it? What was on your mind when Days contacted you? What did you feel about coming to Days, and what attracted you about the role? What was appealing to you?
I was so surprised. It came out of the blue. It's like my father always used to tell me when I would get depressed, he'd say, "Hey man, you're in the kind of business where it can all spin on a dime, so don't go there. Any one day it could change." So I was really surprised to get the call, and as I say, I knew that Josh, I've known Josh for a long time. He knows me really well, and he basically said, "Trust me, this is like in your wheelhouse. So take a chance." And I also had sort of less than stellar experiences my last couple of times dipping my toe into daytime. I had like a kind of a cup of coffee on Bold and Beautiful where I didn't even know sometimes when the camera was on. I was so kind of clueless. That was a bad feeling. You think, were we going to take it? We're moving on.
That's not good.
Oh. And then the character I played on One Life to Live, the disservice I felt I did a little bit to Camila was I chose to play that guy so kind of clunky and unpleasant that you know, after a while, you look at him and you go, God, I don't want to see that guy anymore. You know, it's like he was legitimate, but he was like off-putting. So I was really thankful for the chance to actually come back to daytime and play somebody that wasn't like a drag. Seriously. You know, seriously. Yeah.
All right, Ian, you're up from New Zealand.
So my question is for A. Martinez. What has it been like returning to the world of soap opera? Is your character in Salem for the long haul? And how's it been reconnecting with your Santa Barbara alums, Melissa Reeves and Stephen Nichols?
Yeah, there's a lot of people here. You know, we made Santa Barbara literally, you know, 100 yards from this studio. So, and they were our lead-in back in the day. Days of Our Lives was our lead-in. So, you know, I have a lot of friends here. Not only people I've known in the cast for a long time, but people that are working, you know, on the booms and on the cameras and you know, walking around on the floor. So, it feels like a reunion on a lot of levels. You know, I'll just, you know, say, you know, what happened in Stage 11, you know, changed my life. Studio 11 at NBC, and I drive by it every single day that I come here now. And, it's pretty cool. You know, it has a certain emotional kind of payoff every single day. Even my daughters came the other day and like, is that the place? Is that the place where you did all that stuff? You know, so it's wonderful. It's wonderful, and I'm really, really grateful.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Lisa, do you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question for Galen. If you could play any other character on Days, who would you play and why?
Wow, that's a really good question. I think for me, I'd love to play something that's the opposite of which I've historically played, which would be this sort of heroic, altruistic guy. So I would probably play something, I don't know, whether it would be a Chad DeMira or Stefano or, I don't know, something just nefarious, like getting into trouble, rubbing people the wrong way, as opposed to always doing
Did
the
you
right
like
thing.
playing the Brave Doppelganger?
Oh,
because
so
that was
fun.
so fun.
So fun.
You did get a chance there, which I thought was great for you, right?
Sure, yeah. I mean,
That's great.
it was a wacky story, and so, you know, if that's a two-part question, the important thing is, if you're going to be that guy, to have legitimate reasons as to why you're doing those things, not just to be like, you know, this wacky guy. So, so I tried to bring those to those reasons to that guy, and made him, I think, a unique, believable character within this sort of silly set of circumstances. But hell, it sure was a lot of fun.
So fun. It was really fun. You were such a jerk. It was great.
Oh my god! When I was done, everyone was like, "Can you?"
Yeah.
It's just that Rafe's really boring. Like, you remember the guy? Like, we want him back. He was awesome.
I was like, can we have him back?
I was like, thanks. Great.
It was really good. It was really good. Nice. Carolyn, do you have a question?
Yes, also for Galen. I wondered, in the past, because you've been Rafe for a long time. What before this has been your favorite Rafe-centric storyline?
Rafe-centric storyline.
Yeah.
What was your favorite one?
Or is it coming up?
I'm not supposed to ask about that, right?
We can say, if we doesn't say what it is, but we want to know.
Okay.
I do really love this stuff right now, because I'm very heavily invested in it, not just from a romantic point of view. There's really like serious stuff happening, and you know, in my life, not just driven by like my heartstrings, and so that's also unique, I think, for the genre. And again, I've always, in large part, been involved in a romantic story, so that's kind of cool. I mean, I don't know if I'm giving away the fact that maybe I'm not involved in a romantic story, but I will say that there's another big story. I mean, obviously we know there's been a murder, and there will continue to be other stuff, bad stuff happening. And so that's, you know, it's intense, and so I'm really enjoying that.
So lots to look forward to.
Yeah, totally.
Dottie.
We've heard that the new writers are bringing more of the family-oriented stories, and now that we have the father, Hernandez, are we going to maybe see some traditions and some ethnicity coming into the storyline, which I think would be awesome, you know, the way the Hernandezes celebrate Christmas and things like that.
Hopefully. I would
If
think
they
so.
can get it together.
I would think so,
The
yeah.
family unit.
Well, right, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, our families are
You won't
kind of
be
fractured
you won't be
right now,
hanging
but
Christmas
maybe a pinata or something.
a pinata.
This first Christmas is a little rough.
It's a little rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, you know,
One step at a time, Dottie. You know what I mean?
Call ours is Dottie.
that's what I hear every scene. I hear that one step at a time. But you know, so, okay, I got it. But I think a lot depends on you know, the degree to which the family might get flushed out. So you hear rumors about there's other members of the family that are still in exile. So
Periphery and that's
that might happen.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
All right, Noel, do you have a question for the gentleman?
For Galen. How would you say the dynamic working on days is different from working on passions?
I think that's a great question. I think the dynamic in general for daytime has changed drastically. The example being there were a lot bigger budgets. When I came to this show, they cut the budget by 40%, yet still had to manufacture the same show. So with that said, we shot less so we shot a show a day basically, as opposed to nearly 8 a week now. And with that said, there was just a much more leisurely pace. We were working there till usually at least 8, 9, 10 every day. Some days till 2 in the morning, 3. We did night shoots and everything. So, and it was also, you know, this farcical show. I mean, I had a more of the, you know, it was super fun and ridiculous at times and genius at times, and other times completely maddening.
Was your wardrobe more than 3 shirts?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was an issue over passions. The wardrobe.
Well,
Men's
the days lasted forever.
You know.
So you'd be stuck in an outfit literally for months, like literally wearing the outfits out, and then they dry clean them so that it doesn't really get rid of like this BO that would like, and you'd be like, oh my god, who stinks? Yeah. So that's like a really big thing, you know, the storyline, the character. I mean, Luis Lopez Fitzgerald, it was obviously a very farcical take, and this, you know, can't be wrong, and sort of poked fun at soap operas, and yet was a soap opera at the same time. It was complex.
Right.
And this is more traditional, grounded storytelling. I remember people saying, "Oh wow, you're on Days of Our Lives now. You made it. You're on a real show now." I was like, "Oh, okay, all right." Yeah, so I guess I'm on a real show now. It's cool. It's been great. Everyone since day one has been lovely and welcomed me with open arms, and you know, here's to many more years.
Ian, do you have a question?
I do actually. For Galen, when you were on Passions, I was wondering, where did they film the pilot episode of Passions? Because it's like a New England town. But yeah, I mean, I haven't seen anything like that.
Wait, can you say that again?
Oh, I'm sorry, it's probably my accent. I was wondering where the pilot episode of Passions was filmed.
That's a great question. So the opening sequence was filmed back east. We were on location shooting there, and then we shot in Ventura, California, for all the stuff that was on the beach and the carnival and whatever. But we did some scenes between literally, what was that town called? I forget the name of the town back east where we shot the opening sequence. And
Harmony.
Yeah, the fictional town of Harmony, wherever that was.
Right.
So, but that was literally only like 3 days of shooting we did there.
Oh, cool.
Ventura for a week, and then the rest mostly here. We did some location stuff, but.
James, do you have a question?
I do. It's for Galen. It's got to be bittersweet when a new regime comes in, especially like with Days 50, and you have so many great new things coming aboard and storylines for your character, but there's also the bittersweet part where there's other great actors and such who are let go. How is that for you as an actor when you're chosen? It's an honor to be chosen to stay, but then you have the other to deal with.
Great question.
You're absolutely right. I mean, I think I touched a little bit on that before, but It's tough. It's really tough, especially, you know, the people that in this business. A lot can happen in a short amount of time, and you bond with people. It's kind of like, you know, being like in prison or something. You're going through the trenches, like, you know.
It's true.
Well, you have to entrust, you know, your fellow actors, and there's time constraints, and there's just, you bond very quickly, and so when someone is then thrust away, you know, you sort of like a piece of your friendship, and the story's lost, and.
Right.
You know, I would say, like, that's why it's called show business, not show fun, and that's obviously the part of the business that sucks, you know.
Yeah. Right.
And you just have to hope that, you know what, the people who are in charge are looking at the bigger picture, and they know more than you do, and the show will be better for it, or it's part of the storytelling that they have to convey. And then one of my favorite things about daytime too is people can come back. So just because someone's gone, it doesn't necessarily
Especially
mean
on Days of Our Life,
right?
Right. Right.
So we remain optimistic.
Right. Thank you, Galen.
You're welcome.
Lisa.
I have a question for A. What is your favorite thing about the character you're playing now?
That he's
So handsome.
well, you know, there's that, but
That's a big part of it.
you know, no, I like the fact that he's got a great deal of mystery to him. He's extremely wounded, and he has built a psychology that is really complicated, but not particularly well-founded. So I think there's just tremendous flexibility inside him to play all kinds of different points of view and colors. It's just wonderful on that level. It's almost like sometimes within the same show, it's like you see him taking off a mask and putting another mask on. And that's really fun as an actor.
You know, that's great. If they're going to bring you on the show, they better have, like, something.
The masks?
Masks. No, but you know what?
Mask?
No, I mean something meaty material for someone like yourself. That's all.
Bless your heart, bless your heart.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I needed to hear
after
that
Emmy.
After this?
Like, there's more Emmys in the cabinet, right?
I was there when he won his Emmy.
That's a really good question. And you were like pulling for me. I'll never forget
I was
this.
pulling for
I
you.
really had such a sense. It was like almost an omen. The energy.
I
from
came up
was
to you
like,
before,
you
and I
did.
said, you're going to win this Emmy.
You did.
I know,
I'll
we've
never
always
forget
had that moment. It was a great moment. We
great
shared. It was at the Marriott Marquis in New York. I think it was segment producing on the show, the Emmys that year. And I had done the clip packages, the nomination packages. And I remember putting them all together, and I went, A's going to win. A's going to win. And I just went up to him and said, you're going to win this Emmy. But he was such, I mean, as somebody who watches all of daytime, it was such a thrill to meet A. Martinez.
Well, I just had, it's like they wrote for me on a level that they wrote for no one else. I almost felt like I had an unfair advantage. Because when you get great story that's unique, where the kind of thing that you never see on television, when you get to do something like that, it's like, you just, becomes unforgettable in your own life. Things I learned doing those stories, out in the desert with Henry Darrow playing my father and giving me, kind of psychedelic juice to drink and stuff. It's like you get sort of. It was an advantage. I had a big advantage, but I always appreciated your confidence on that day. That was a great day in my life.
It was a great day.
It
was a great day.
Yeah.
All right. So in closing, you would say Day's 50th anniversary is going to be amazing. November 8th is the anniversary, but lots of story coming up through then and into the new year. I know you guys are 6 months ahead.
Yeah.
So you guys know kind of we don't.
Yeah.
And you would say in a broad stroke?
I'd say it's just fantastic. And yes, there is this one show, which is the earmark is Days 50, but the whole story leading up and surpassing that is just, oh man, I'm having so much fun. What a blessing.
Are you being a smart cop or a dumb cop? Is it smart?
Yeah.
Okay. You know we don't like dumb cops.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, yeah. No,
I mean,
definitely.
he's figuring things out. He's not a doofus.
No, he's not a doofus.
Okay.
No, it's great. It's very compelling. Very compelling. And I think one of the things I would say is, as a cop, I'm doing things that I've never done before. And that's really interesting for me.
I thought that scene you had with Billy Flynn last week, where you were
Was
like,
so good.
was phenomenal.
Oh,
Just like, you know, you just took your time, and he thought he was off the hook, and then you just. It's great. I love it.
And so
Thanks.
would you say coming up, since you've been here for a bit now, that we'll be in for a ride with your character? Is it going to be like we're not going to know what's going on? Would you say, or
Yeah, yeah. He's not what he seems, and
Oh, really? Great. Good to know.
yeah.
Seriously?
Everything I've said to him, for instance, totally shaky.
Yeah.
But no, that's basically what was told to me, you know, upon when I got when they
Yeah,
talked
tell us.
about
Well,
Josh.
what were you told?
Well, that, you know, he's like what he appears to be is not really what he is, right?
Watch out! This
So,
is bad.
and I think that's proving to. I'm
I'm
sorry.
Miss now. So much for not being a doofus. Not cool.
I'm not writing it
Is
that
the
way.
last to know.
No, but I'm doing you a service. If I were to tell you, then it wouldn't be the same in the scene.
Correct.
Great. Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, I want to thank each of you so much for being part of our day's hangout with the Hernandez clan. And we're so sorry Camila couldn't be here with us, but we'll do it again with her in the future. And thank you so much.
Keep watching.
Yeah.
It's great to see you,
so
Galen.
good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Days of Our Lives, weekdays on NBC. Days 50th anniversary coming up in November. The Hernandez clan coming up soon. A. Martinez, Camila Banus, September 17th, returns to the air. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. See ya.